Alright, hello! Welcome back to A Build a Week May. This is going to be the last episode of this month, and next month we will be having a new theme, or next week we'll be having a new theme, which will be revealed in the next episode. Last week we left off here in this market, and this week we're going to be doing all of the different terrain things, making this place look pretty. I have some ideas for a pond and trees. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm gonna get in my creative world and show you a few different ideas, and then we'll get started. I also need this week to do the trees that go up on those where those blue blocks are, and finally finish off this market area. Alright, let's get going. Hello, we are in my super flat world where I have set up a few ideas for certain things in there, and you can see them. I keep seeing this style on YouTube, so I put them in those red boxes, and I'll show you in a second. But yeah, let's go over them, and then I will also show you a time lapse of how I built certain things, because I meant it to just be an example, and it ended up really good, so I'm probably going to put it in the world. Yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so first up is the path. We're going to have a mix of coarse dirt and packed mud, and for any depths down, we're also going to use spruce slabs. And then also I've got end rods on mushroom blocks to act as little lamps for at night. Also, I wanted to have it not be like straight across. I want the paths to be kind of windy and to have like patches of grass in between, because I don't think a lot of people are really walking on these. So it would make sense that there's a path, but not a very strong path. Next, we have ground covering. And this is just going to be anywhere there's not really a path and there's not anything else. I'm going to have kind of a mix of like bushes and grasses that are, it's going to look a little overgrown. We've also got ferns. We're going to fill in a lot of flowers, and in spots where there aren't flowers or grass or anything else, I'm going to mostly be filling it with wildflowers, but there might be a few spots that aren't. I kind of want it to look a little bit chaotic, it's going to be a little bit overgrown and stuff. So yeah, and then we've also got these firefly bushes because I think they just look, they look magical. And then also at night, then we'll have lots of fireflies, which is perfect. All right. Okay, so next up, we're going to have trees. So I've got 3 different kinds of trees. I went a little overboard on this one. I'll be showing you a time lapse of how I built this and explain it. But yeah, for now, let's just look at everything. So first up, we got mushrooms. So they're not actually trees, but they will stand in as trees in certain spots. So we've got this design, which I didn't like as much. And then we've got this kind of design that's got a fork, and then they've just got little mushrooms on top. And then we've got this really curvy one, which has got a bigger mushroom with plenty of little spots. And of course, one of the smaller ones from over there. So yeah, we might be, I'm not sure exactly, I might want to make it really curvy like this, but I'm not sure, I'm sure it'll depend on where it is. When building a tree, my first step is to build the trunk and the main branches. For these trees, I wanted them to be twisty and curvy, and for the branches to be kind of curved over and down to give it a droopy effect. Next, I'm going to pick one of those branches and start covering it in leaves and twigs. Sometimes I add lots of twigs with slabs, gates, and fences before I start doing the leaves, but for this one, I mainly just add them as I went around. One good tip I hear a lot is to not have a ton of solid leaves. I leave plenty of air gaps. This especially works so you can see some of the wood through the leaves. However, you do have to be careful with that. If you go too overboard, then it will look like there's too little leaves. So definitely leave leaves next to each other and in clumps. All right, now back to past flip. All right, next up, we've got our actual trees that are a lot like dark oak, but I decided to use azalea because I think they're nice and bright, and we've got the flower variant. I want it to be nice and twisty because I think it'll make it look a little bit like, I don't know, whimsical trees. And so it's got 3 branches. And yeah, I ended up really, really happy with this branch, but not so much with that one. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I think most of the ones that we put in the world are not going to be as big. We're going to have smaller ones, but it'll be basically the same idea, which is stripped dark oak and azalea leaves. And here's like a smaller one. I think I might use this in a certain spot because I like how it curves over. But yeah, this one took me like 10 minutes. That one took me like 20 or 30. So yeah, we'll be using these. And then last up, we'll have some of these giant flowers, I think, will be dotted around the place. So this one is like a tulip, I think. And we've got a moss stem and a green wool leaf, which is to match with our flower house, which is down there, you can see. And yeah, they should look pretty cool, just dotted around the place every here and there, but every now and then. But yeah, so these are some of the ideas of what I'm gonna bring in, and we're gonna hop back onto the Build a Week May world and just use some of this. So yeah, let me move over there, and I'm also going to put this in like Matica because I think I'm gonna use this tree somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly where just yet. Alright, so we got the path in. It starts about over here, just kind of fades off into the forest. You can maybe even do like that. And then it just kind of winds through this village. And we've got little bits that are just coarse dirt that go off to the houses. Like down here, this house, and then obviously this, which we did last week. So, oh yeah, and then I also added a staircase here so it'd be a bit easier to get up. I'm just gonna fill in all the grass bits and flowers and stuff like that. Alright, so as you saw in that time lapse, I've gotten all of the flowers and terrain, like all the grasses and plants and greenery, all that in. And I also put in the lamps, and I put in a little thing over there by the entrance market. But let's look at it all, because I realized this looks amazing at night. Especially this view right here. All the firefly particles. That's a time in my chat right there. So I thought the flowers were a little too much, so I did have to take a little bit of them out. I think all in all it looks pretty good. Yep. Oh, I also put these lamps in. I think it helps a lot with the lighting. Yeah, let's see this during the day. I think it still looks pretty good. A little less good, I would say, but yeah. Gosh, I can hear the fireflies. It's so loud. Oh, I also added this little thing. It's just marks the entrance to the market. And we still gotta put in those trees, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. Oh, one last change was that I put a barrier of the tall grass and large ferns all the way around. Nowhere where you can't see a tree or grass, and it kind of blocks out the outside. But I think it looks cool. Alright, the next thing we're going to work on is actually, I want to do this pond. And yeah, I'm going to save the trees for last because they're going to be quite the task. So I'm going to do pond next. That looks pretty cool. It looks a little out of place right now because it's the only thing with stone. So I think I'm gonna need to take the stone and like move it elsewhere as well, so it's not the only place with stone. But yeah, I mean, let's also have like a path that just leads over here. Alright, so my next step is actually gonna be just to put a little bit of stone elsewhere so this doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. I don't really know where else it fits though. Alright, I've also now added some flower beds of flowers that aren't like the 1 block tall flowers that you can find all over the place. So you got rose bushes, torch flowers, and pitcher pods. But I've also got the cactus flowers over here because if you remember in episode 1, if you've watched that, I wanted to put some flowers in this window so there's something to look at. So we've got a little bed down there too. Looks a little awkward from over here, but I think it works. Works well enough. Anyways, so yeah, we've got these 4 flower beds, and that should bring the stone out of just the water fountain. And I think it looks pretty good. Next up, I'm just gonna put down markers. So we've already got markers for the 3 trees that are gonna go in here, but I need markers for where I'm gonna put trees and, you know, other bigger things in here as well. I think I could put something here. Whoops. Because if I put, like, imagine just like something small that went right there, fills in that little gap and gives you a 3rd thing to see on this, or an extra thing to see on this sight line. I'd like to do customs for this and this, if possible. Although maybe the mushroom can probably stay. I want something custom for the dark oak. This is meant to be a custom tree of some sort. I was thinking a mushroom, but we'll see with that one. There's not really a lot of like places that need more stuff, cause like adding these has really filled out a lot of that space. So it kind of feels like we don't really need a lot more. Yeah, we'll have plenty of custom trees though for sure, because we'll have these 3, this one, these 2, and whatever goes here, which I think this one's going to be a giant flower. That might work best right there. Yeah, because in the end, these kind of work well enough. The natural trees kind of work well enough for filling out all the space around to make it feel more enclosed. So I don't really need to do that much of like custom plants and stuff for this area to make it look good. But yeah, let's get to work on this one first. Alright, so I've basically built the same thing as I did in the creative world. We just got the moss stem, or in the super flat world, sorry. I keep saying creative, they're both in creative mode, but that world is literally called creative, so yeah. Anyways, got moss stem, green wool, and the purple? Light blue terracotta. And in the inside, you might notice we've got the bamboo trapdoor, the glazed terracotta, and the end rod. And if you've watched my other videos, you would know that in this house, we have pretty much the exact same setup right there. And I think it's kind of cool that they link together almost, like this and this are kind of the same or related. Yeah. So there you go. And from over here, my little viewing spot, it doesn't block anything and it adds instead of subtracts. So it is perfect for where it needs to go. It would be cool if there were more of them, however, I don't think I have space, so I think that might end up being the only one, unfortunately. I think when I'm done putting in the things that I've got the magenta box on, I'll see if there's any space for more things, but yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Alright, moving on, I'm going to next do... Kind of scared to do these. Let's get started on this one right here. First up, I'm just gonna break off this top half actually, because I think it looks kind of dumb. Now, got plenty of space to put a tree there. So here's our basic stem, and we're gonna have mushroom caps there. Alright, so we start with a 3x3 base. Wait, I need stairs. There. Okay, and then we put the middle one there. Stairs all around it. I need... just taking stuff from here. Okay, and then I need trap doors in every corner, and voila, we have a small mushroom. Okay, and then for this one we did the same thing, but with a ring of slabs around and then a full block in the middle. They look pretty good from here. They look a little less good, but still pretty good from down here. Let's give them some spots real quick. That doesn't look bad. It looks a little odd from the bottom, but it looks pretty good from the top, so I think I'll leave it. Yeah. Alright, so that's our mushroom, our main mushroom tree. And I've got to move all the little flowers and stuff back. So that's our mushroom tree. I think it fits pretty well, like with the skyline. I don't know. It looks pretty cool from down here. And then from in the market, also looks pretty cool actually. Alright, so next up, I think I need to do this tree before I can work on the mushroom. I'm kind of scared to do the tree though, to be honest. Ooh, is this a tomorrow thing? I think this is a tomorrow thing. Okay, I've decided that this is going to be a problem for future me. So, goodbye, and I will see you tomorrow, where I will also be procrastinating doing the tree. I will probably end up doing something other than the tree, because I don't want to do this tree. I may even end up just leaving this tree, and then none of it mattered anyways, because it actually doesn't even look that bad. I think it would be fun to have a custom tree there. So, you know, we'll see. Alright, well, I will see you tomorrow. Or you will see tomorrow. I don't know. Then, goodbye. Good night. It's late. Alright, hello. So, I finally selected up and just made it, and I'm really happy with this. So, I built this tree, and I'm sure while I'm talking you'll be seeing the time lapse of me building it. But, I think it fits, or, I don't know, you'll see a time lapse somewhere. I think it fits really well with this pond. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I wanted it to be a little droopy, and a little bit more, like, rounded on the top. I think it just kind of fits the vibe. Yeah, it's made this view, this angle, one of my favorites now. And it looks really cool at night, because look at the firefly bushes. Well, you have to give it a second, but yeah. This is a really neat spot. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. So, our next step, I'm gonna think about it. I might put a mushroom here, but I think I'm gonna save that for later, because I don't know for sure if I want to yet, because it kind of just looks fine like this. Yeah, I'll make that decision, and in the meantime, I'm going to get to work on these 3 trees. So one of them is going to be the one that we built in that super flat world, and the other 2 are either going to be variations, or I guess I can just build a whole new tree. But yeah, I will get to work on that now. So, I pasted this tree in. And I think it works. I also put an oak tree there to cover up some of that cliffside. I think it works a little better that way. It looks pretty good. Still not so happy with that branch. I did change it a little bit, but... yeah. It looks alright from this angle. And it looks pretty good, like, if you're down in here, you can see it just kind of over the top. It still looks best from this angle, to be honest. I did put it over there. I wanted to put it over here originally, but I think it stuck out too much from the forest, but yeah. Alright, we'll get the rest of this covered up a little bit too. Let me work on this one next, I think. Alright, hello. So, since I last saw you, there have been a few massive changes, which I'm sure you've just seen in the time-lapse anyways, but let's go through some of them. So, the first one up here, ignore that for now, is this mushroom. I decided I just wanted something to fill that space, and I just made a really small version of one of these. So, yeah, I think it fills the space nicely. I've also put this here, but that's not a very notable change. Alright, moving over here. So, I built these two new trees. I was trying to get them to look like they slumped over a little bit. I think it came off correctly. Like, they're a little curved over, bendy, I don't know. Here, let me make it day. There, now we can see a little better. Even though it looks better at night, we can see this a little more clearly now. So yeah. These both have kind of the same formula of just, and I'll explain this in the time-lapse anyways, but, you know, building up a trunk shape that I like, and then putting major branches, and then smaller branches, and twigs, and stuff like that. But yeah, so we got these 3 new trees, and from the ground, you can see that they kind of cover most of the sky. I think is perfect. Yeah. And then I've also added these. We've got this waxed exposed copper chain. And we got like lanterns and hanging signs. I think they look like little flags or something. I don't know. I think it looks cool. They look a little odd. Also, some of them aren't waxed because I forgot to wax some of them. When I originally put them up, I just put up normal chains. And some of them are not waxed because of that. But anyways, there's another one. Anyways, yeah, they look a little funky, but I think they look pretty cool overall. And when you're on the ground, it doesn't look bad. So the main sight line that I was going for is this one, and I think they look pretty cool from this one and from down here as well. And they especially look really cool at night. Especially once these fireflies get going, this market looks super cool now. Yeah, it just helps the space feel a little bit enclosed, a little bit sheltered from the outside world, a little bit whimsical and magical, which is perfect. Yeah, overall, pretty happy. I mean, they're not the best trees ever. They look a little bit weird from certain angles and, you know, but for some of my, I wouldn't say first, I've built a few custom trees, but for some of the not first, but definitely not far into my tree building journey trees, they're pretty good, I think. So yeah. Oh yeah, I also put candles in stuff, so I put candles in some of these. And amethysts. Amethysts are actually a light block too, so definitely bigger ones. Yeah. So I did take out the lantern because it was looking weird, but yeah. I did put up candles in some spots, and there's glow lichen over here because I didn't like how any other candles looked, and I just thought this looked better. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of all the changes. I did put glowberries over here because I think it fits with the theme. Yeah. Alright, so with that, I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything more to do. We've got all of our trees in, and our, well, mushrooms. We've got all of the ground covering in, pathways, lanterns, all this sort of stuff. So I think I'm finished. If you have enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing. If you really liked it, please like, comment. If you've got any suggestions, maybe any tips on how to build trees better or more efficiently, that would be much appreciated. So, next week we will have an entirely new theme. I've got a spot picked out already that looks absolutely amazing. The terrain in this seed, for some reason, is incredible. If anyone wants it, I'll have to show off a few places at some point if I don't use any of them, but yeah, maybe if somebody wants it, I can give the seed. Yeah. If you have enjoyed this episode, wait, I already did that part. I'll see you next week with our new theme and our new, yeah. Alright. Goodbye. I hope you have a wonderful day, or rest of your day, or evening, or night, or whenever it is for you. And I shall see you another time. Goodbye.